Hello and welcome to Inside Music, episode number 73. I'm your host, James Shotwell, and on this week's show, I have my good friend Dylan from Tiny Moving Parts stopping by to talk about his band's new album, Celebrate, which is coming out this Friday, May 20th, through Triple Crown Records. Now, I shouldn't really have to tell you about Tiny Moving Parts, but I just moved to Minnesota, which I'm sure all of you are sick of hearing about at this point. I do feel compelled to tell you about how Minnesota feels about Tiny Moving Parts. I'm not from here. I only know a handful of people that have lived here, but anyone I meet that is part of this music scene, the first thing they want to tell me about is Tiny Moving Parts. They're that little band that could. They come from a tiny town here in Minnesota that only people from that area know even exists, and now they've become these national poster boys for the alternative punk slash indie rock world of music. It's a very unique sound what Tiny Moving Parts creates, and it hits a lot of different subgenres. But in the end of the day, it's good music. It's really good music, and Celebrate is their best work yet. It only runs about 30 minutes in length, but it is chock full of great songs that I think are really going to take the band to a new level. And Dylan and I talk about all that over the course of about 35 minutes. It's a little shorter than most episodes, but the band was in the middle of traveling across the country. They had just picked up a new van for their headlining tour that's coming up soon. And, it's kind of hard to talk to someone when they're driving through Wisconsin. It's not the most exciting state. It also doesn't have the best service. So we did what we could, and I think we got a great episode out of it. Before we get there, I do need to tell you a couple of quick things. First and foremost, this episode of Inside Music is brought to you by Holix, the music industry's leading digital promotional distribution company. What that means is that Holix works with publicists, record labels, artist managers, and independent creative minds all over the world to share new and unreleased music ahead of its release date without fear of piracy. Should a leak occur, Holix has state-of-the-art technology that can not only stop the spread of unwanted files online, but also track down the people responsible. For more information on Holix and access to a free 30-day trial, visit holix.com. That's HAULIX.com. I also want to encourage you to follow the show on Twitter. That's at Inside Music Pod, at Inside Music POD. We have post updates on upcoming guests, some bonus episodes. We have one this week, which I'm not going to mention here, so you got to go out there and hunt for it. Hopefully you've subscribed to the show. And third, there's a new Tiny Moving Parts album. You're going to hear a little bit of a song called Common Cold. It's one of my favorite tracks on the record here in just a second. And it hits stores this Friday, May 20th, through Triple Crown Records, which is one of the best record labels in the world. So there's a second reason to buy this amazing album. It's quite possibly the soundtrack to summer. It's definitely going to be the soundtrack for some people, and for everyone else, it's going to be one of the best records they hear all year. And yes, I know I said that last week with Modern Baseball, but guess what? It's a great month for music. So don't question it. Just support great albums, and the new Tiny Moving Parts record is that. Now, I feel like I've run out of words, so we might as well get to the show. Again, this is my good friend Dylan from Tiny Moving Parts, new album this Friday, and this song is called Common Cold. We're going to listen to a little bit of it, then we'll get to the conversation. So where are you guys at today?
We're actually, we drove all the way to Pennsylvania to pick up a new van. So, it took an 18-hour drive from Minnesota. So, we just passed Chicago, like 7 hours to home. I think we're somewhere in Wisconsin right now.
Now, what did you guys drive to Pennsylvania to pick up a new van?
Well, we drove, our drummer Billy, we drove his car out there to pick it up. And now we just have two of us driving you back. Because we knew we needed to get a new van before our headliner tour coming up. Because, like, we really don't want to use a trailer. So, like, and our van was, like, in bad shape. So we just needed to get, like, a big van and just shove everything in. So,
How many vans have you guys had now since, 2010?
this will be our third one now. Yeah. Like, the first one we got, that was bound to break down. I mean, I got that, we bought off Craigslist. I think it was like $400-500. And, we knew it wasn't going to last, but we just wanted to tour so badly, so we just, bite the bullet and went with it. But, yeah, that's our third one.
Well, that's not bad. You guys haven't had any, like, complete van meltdowns yet.
No, I mean we broke down last tour, but like uh, that was when we were on tour with the Wonder Years, Wet Wave, and Microwave, and thankfully Microwave was like 10 minutes behind us, and they saw us pulled over because a van like overheated and like some like hose broke or exploded or something, and so they picked us up and drove us to the show. We still played the show, and then our roadie Boomer stayed with the van overnight and got it fixed in the morning, and then I got fixed later that day and drove up to the show, and we got really lucky there. But we had one van breakdown like our first tour, but other than that, no, everything's been kind of smooth, surprisingly. Knock on wood.
Yeah, exactly. Knock on wood.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh man, well I'm happy we could do this. I just moved to Minnesota from Boston at the beginning of February, so like I'm still getting adjusted out here.
Oh, well, you live in Minneapolis?
Yeah, I live in Uptown.
Oh, sweet. That's awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah, that's what everyone tells me, I guess. I like it's only recently gotten nice here, as you know, so I mean it's just been frozen.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, once the sun gets out more, it's really nice up there.
Yeah, do you guys still live in Benson? Is that like where you still call home?
Yeah, yeah, we still live in Benson. We're like 2.5 hours southwest of Minneapolis. So,
That's not bad. What else is out there? Is there any reason for me to go to Benson?
honestly, not really. I mean, there's a lot of cornfields, you know, nothing really spectacular, just regular small town, farm town in the Midwest, area.
That's fine. So when you were growing up, like the Twin Cities were the place.
Oh yeah, like it's really cool. Like even when we played shows when we first started, you know, playing shows outside of Benson, we always go up to Minneapolis or go up to like north up to Fargo, North Dakota, and yeah, those are like kind of the two main spots we really wanted to hit up.
That's what I hear when I talk to people who are like started here. They're like, "Well, we started in Minneapolis and St. Paul, and then it's like immediately North Dakota or Des Moines or
Yeah, yeah,
maybe
Des
Milwaukee."
Moines too. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, you can make like a nice solid weekend run with those cities, come back home and it won't be too long of a drive. So that's what we did a lot. A lot of bands do.
Yeah, I'm from Michigan originally, so like there, everyone just there's like a loop in the state that's like a 8 hour round trip that like you could do like a weekend tour. So I guess out here though, that's like what you have to do. It's state to state to state.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
All right, that's fine. Well, I'm stoked to talk to you about this record, man, because I've gotten to hear it. I love it. I think I've heard most of the big May releases. May's a crazy month for music this year. And I've heard a lot of them. I've done a lot of podcasts with a lot of the people that are doing them, but I'm certain Celebrate is my favorite of the records.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Well, no, I'm glad to hear it, and I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I didn't necessarily know that would be the case. I've always loved your band. I've been a big fan and supporter, but you never really know, like, especially this far into a band's career, you never really know what's gonna come next. Especially for a band like you guys, because I feel like there's a little bit of there's a bit of the unexpected, like, kind of inherent in what you guys do. So I'm always like, I don't know what's gonna come next. And then I heard the singles, and I was like, oh, this is a nice change of pace. And then I heard the full record, and by Birdhouse, I was like, holy crap.
Yeah, thank you.
I mean, I honestly like, and Birdhouse is my favorite song, and we can come back to that. But as soon as I got to that track, I was like, they've really, really hit some new plateau here. For at least as a listener, I feel like you guys kind of reached some new level of creativity with this record.
Really appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, it's really nice to hear. Thank you.
But I'm curious how it feels for you, because the last, I don't know, since the couch hit the internet and people kind of really started finding it, it's kind of been this non-stop train of slowly rising up through the alternative underground. So going into this, like, how do you feel about this record, even compared to Pleasant Living? Like, do you feel like you've grown or changed a lot?
I mean, it sounds kind of cliche, but like, throughout the years we have matured. Every new song we write, feel like it's better than the one before, which I guess is a good thing. You always want to improve yourself, like improve your records throughout the years. But yeah, we knew that we have like a little bit of like hype, or like people are like excited about us, which is awesome. And we knew we really didn't want to, fuck it up with our newest stuff. So we spent like a solid year writing Celebrate, and we rewrote the songs. Took a lot of time, figuring everything out and working out the kinks and stuff. And so we were fully satisfied. And then we, one thing that honestly really helped was we recorded with our friend Greg Lindholm. He lives in Blaine, Minnesota, which is, like a suburb of Minneapolis. And
Oh yeah.
he's like, we told him like, hey, we really want to go with you for the record because he's a good friend of ours. We trust him 100%. And there's like 2 or 3 different times where like we would demo out like 3 or 4 songs and like go with them for like the weekend and demo out a couple songs and like we just reviewed them and just kind of, like I said, take our time and make sure we like had the full potential of like making sure it's the best song we could write or like the best way we could make that song work. And like his input and everything like that really helped out too. So yeah, long story short, we didn't want to fuck it up.
I like that. We just didn't want to fuck it up. Okay.
Yeah.
The first thing that jumped out to me about this record is that it's all the songs are longer than pretty much any song you guys have written in the past. Like most songs crack 3 minutes, a couple crack 4 minutes, and I was wondering if like did you purposely set out to write a longer songs this time around? Because they still feel fast, they still feel concise, but they are longer. 10 songs, less songs, but probably the same runtime.
Oh yeah, I didn't even notice. I guess like we always just try to shoot for every record just like a solid half hour of music, and I think this one was like 34 minutes or something. Good enough, I guess. But yeah, I guess we don't really think of the duration of the song. We just want to make sure it's like, hey, did we get a point across? Is it fun to play live? It's kind of, do all the check marks to make sure we hit everything, make sure it's a good overall song, I guess.
I'm always curious about that because you guys are really, you guys do like the 30-minute kind of like big block of rock, which I love. I think that for me, like the first time I ever heard an album like that was like the Weezer Green album. That's like 28 minutes. And you're like, yeah, that's all you need. You're like, and I'm done. Like, I'm good. So like this record, it's 34 minutes. The songs are a little bit longer, but there's only 10 tracks. Only 2 are under 3 minutes. And I was like, oh damn, they're doing it again, but the songs are getting bigger, but you're still delivering like the same 30 minutes of rock.
Yeah, 30 minutes of rock and roll.
30 minutes of rock and roll. So let's talk about the title, Celebrate. I love watching how your titles evolve. They're getting shorter and shorter. I don't know how you're going to get any shorter than Celebrate. Maybe less syllables?
What if you like single letter names now?
Yes, just record, just album.
Yeah.
But why Celebrate?
Well, so like the whole theme of the record, it's about just being optimistic in life, like you hit your bumps in the road and things and stuff, but just trying to keep your chin up and just be, happy since you're only on this planet for so long. So we just figured we might as well just call it Celebrate, just like, embrace the time we have on this earth, and don't beat yourself up too much, just have a good time.
Is that a little bit of what fueled the video for Headache then? Was that idea?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, because that's just kind of like the message we're, presenting on the whole record. And Kyle actually directed it. He knows us pretty well, and he's a good friend of ours. And we knew we just wanted to make a really fun video, but also like, pretty, a fun video that really captures who we are. And that's why we went with him in the first place, because he's the man. We love him.
He is the man. He's like on a roll this year too. Like your video, he had that Mobo doc. Like that guy he's rocking it.
He's killing it, and he deserves it. I mean, he put a lot of hard work into it. So love that guy.
Now with something like the Headache video, how much of that is you guys? Are all those ideas we see yours, or did he contribute a few things like you guys should try this or you should do this?
Well, together we made a list of like 50 different things, and we narrowed it down to like 16. And yeah, I honestly don't remember specific ideas. Like I remember eating the hottest pepper. That was my idea, and I definitely regretted that because that was miserable. That stuff is way too hot. So like I think skydiving was his idea. They were like, yeah, that'd be so cool. Let's do it. And yeah, we just kind of all mutually agreed on like 16 things to do. And yeah, that was a great time. That was really fun.
Was the hot pepper an immediate regret? Does that linger? How long do you battle with the heat from the hottest pepper?
honestly, it felt like 15 solid minutes. And those were a long 15 minutes. And, and we were like at Asbury Park in Jersey, and it was like kind of cold out, but we had to keep like our, I would say like uniforms because we wanted to keep it the same outfit throughout the whole video. And it was like pretty cold outside, pretty breezy. And then we were eating that hot pepper, and it was miserably hot and unbearable. And then like a half hour after that, we had to jump naked into the freezing ocean. So like it was a lot of work. It was hilarious and fun, but it was also brutal. But we loved it. You know, it was really funny.
Now, Happy Birthday was the first song people heard. Is there any like significance behind that? Like why Happy Birthday? Especially with what is the theme of the record, it's almost hilarious that that's the first song to me because there's a little bit more bitterness to some parts of that song.
Yeah, I mean, like that song, it's kind of like a, you know, I'm trying to think of the best way to say this. It's someone who like has a 9-to-5 job or who has money and has it all. They could like think less of someone who's like, you know, for example, like us, just like touring the world, not having a steady job, we're just playing rock and roll, and we don't have, you know, financially near as much money, but we're having more fun. And I think that's like people being like, that's just an example of like someone being bitter or jealous of someone who looks like they should be looked down upon, but actually they're on the upper hand, you know. And you know, it's like yeah, just celebrate. As long as you find your own happiness, man, that's all that really matters in this life, I feel. You know, and we just felt like, you know, the instrumentation and everything was really cool for a first single, so we really wanted to have that. Just start out with the banger, I guess. You know, just really like energetic. There's like a violin, and my friend Kelsey, she did the vocals on it too, and this was a really cool first single to have out.
Mm. No, I agree, and I thought it was interesting. I think that that's a good song in my mind from an outsider's perspective because it sounds like the band you've always been, but a little like you know, better. It's like the next step for like the sound that people expect, and then you hit them with Headache, which changes it a little bit. It's like, you know, again, you're just slightly changing what people come to expect, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Like every song we write, we want to make sure it's different or like unique in its own way, but always like have like our vibe, of course, with it too. Like we don't want something completely left field that doesn't even sound like it should be with the record, but we like to do like test new things every song, and that's the beauty of writing music with your friends. It's really fun. You can do whatever you want, kind of.
Now, are you the type that writes like constantly? You're writing throughout every week, or do you just write when you need to do a new record?
Well, honestly, we just kind of write every week, I'd say. Like I play guitar, honestly, like every other day when I'm at home, when I'm not on tour. Like I have to play guitar when I'm on tour, too. But,
True.
like, I'll just be in my room, and I'll just kind of just play. I don't, like, try to force anything out, you know, because I feel like that's where my bad ideas come up. But I just play guitar, and then if I come up with something cool, I'll, like, record it on my phone. And then, like, the next morning, I'll go to Matt Billy's house and be like, hey, I made a little jingle. What do you guys think? And then if we see potential for a song, we just start jamming with it. And, yeah, we just kind of go from there. Like, obviously, there's sometimes where, you know, like, deadlines, like, okay, maybe I should finish lyrics for this song now. But, you know, if it's anything, like, forceful, I just stop immediately. Like, yeah, that's not fun, and it doesn't feel right. But, yeah, I just kind of write, I guess, constantly when you're at home. Because we just, like, celebrate. Like I said, it took like a year to write it all, but we started writing right after we released Public Living. Like right when we got home, you know, we just I'd always have ideas, like lyrical ideas when I'm on the road, kind of jot it down on my phone, and just think of like guitar things, and you know, just kind of always keep your mind busy and never like completely like, okay, our record's done. We don't have to worry about writing for a few months. Let's just chill and hang out. Like that's I mean, I'm sure that's how some bands are, but that's not how we do it. We just kind of keep busy.
So, how long between like you start writing a song, you start messing around with the guitar? How soon do you take it to the other guys? Do you have to have like you feeling like it's going to actually become something first, or do you take it to them fairly early and you kind of kick it around as a group?
It all depends. Like sometimes it'll be like the next day I'll show them, but sometimes it'll be like I'll be like, oh, I feel like something's there, but it's not fully there yet, and I'll just kind of I'll have it recorded, but I'll kind of sit on it, and I'll just think of something else. And then, But then there's this, like, I bought this, like, digital drum pad thing. Well, actually, I got it for Christmas. And, so, like, I'll just connect it with my, Logic, and, I'll use GarageBand. I used to use GarageBand just to, like, demo in my room. And, I'll just make these crappy, like, digital drum things to, like, some melody I'll make. And, sometimes I'll, like, have it all complete, and then I'll, like, send it to Matt and Bill that night. Be like, hey, what do you guys think of this? Like, is this kind of sounding cool, or should I just, ignore it for now? And, yeah, I guess that's kind of, it all depends.
Do you mind if we like work through a couple of the songs on the record here? I know you probably haven't talked about it too much yet.
What was that?
You mind if we just talk about a couple of songs on the record here? Just since I figure you probably haven't gotten into that too much yet.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Well, I mean, let's start with the obvious because I already mentioned it. Let's talk about Birdhouse because I think it's a crazy good song. I mean, this is the song that I keep coming back to that I'm like when other people finally get to hear this record, that's going to be like my start at Birdhouse because I dig it a lot and I'm curious about the story behind it. The tempo change on the Just Ask Me is amazing.
Thank you. No. That was Billy's idea. He thought, hey, that'd be so badass to do a tempo change. And I was even thinking like, I don't know, man, this can sound like an octave transition. But then once we did it, we're like, oh wow, that's actually pretty cool. That's kind of different.
It really catches you off guard because it's flowing so well, and then you're like, oh shit, there's like a part 2 to this.
Yeah.
But where does that song come from?
I mean that whole song's about just like never forgetting like good moments in life, like like if someone passes away, it's obviously it's sad, but like you just gotta remember like all the happy moments you've had with them, or like that's just kind of an example of just never forgetting the good stuff out of anything. And yeah, like the guitar stuff. Like I think I came up with that riff one day in my bedroom. I showed the guys and like we're just like, yeah, that'd be cool, like intro for a song, and yeah, we just kind of built from there. Yeah, like it's a really fun song to play live. That was like the first song we played off the new record live. I believe on the tour we did with like State Champs last summer. We tested that one out live, and the feedback was really positive. And yeah, it's a fun one to play.
How about Common Cold? Is Common Cold the only one that has a guest appearance on it? I don't get like a sheet that tells me who the guests are, so I had to like figure it out.
Yeah, like it's definitely like like Connor Murphy from Fox, he has a guest appearance on it. That's like the only guest vocal for the whole record. Like my friend Chelsea from Ohio, like she did some background stuff for like a few songs, and our friend Greg, who recorded the record, he did some like harmonies and stuff. But when it's just like that's the overall like featuring of the record. Like Connor had his main part, and that was basically it.
Now, like, how did that song come about then? Because I'm always curious where like a collaboration like this comes with. Was it just like you wanted to do a song with Connor, or were you writing a song and you felt like he could make something more of it?
Well, when we wrote that song, we're like, well, it's kind of like a different edge we have compared to other songs on the record, or just like any song we've ever written. Like it's like in a drop C sharp tuning. Like I've never been that heavy in my life, and we were always brainstorming ideas, always thinking that'd be cool to have like a guest vocals on some track, eventually in time. And then I saw when boxing opened up for Me Without You, they played at the Triple Rock, which you're gonna love the Triple Rock, which is just moved to Minneapolis.
That's what everyone tells me.
Yeah, it's great. It's such an awesome place. But we watched them open for them, and we're just like drinking, having a good time together. And I told him, okay, I'll be going to the studio in like a month to record our new stuff. And he flat out said, like, yeah, if you ever want me to do like trumpet or guest vocals or anything, just let me know. I'd love to be a part of it. And I was literally planning on asking him that night if he wanted to do that. So it was like, oh, this is perfect. So then, yeah, it worked out great. Like I did his part for when we were recording, and I sent him the track, and then he recorded like, he took those vocals out and he did those vocals, and sent them back like within a week, and it was so great. Like I'm so happy he was a part of the record. He's a great dude, and his band fucking rocks.
Yeah, and it is your longest song like to date that you've released between all the albums.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
By almost 30 seconds. Like it stands out on this record. It's a great song, don't get me wrong, but it was the first song where I was like, holy crap, they're getting closer and closer to 5 minutes. Could this band crank out a 5 minute song?
Oh wow, yeah. Holy shit, that's crazy to think about.
Right, because like The Couch is Long has songs that are like under 2 minutes, and now you're getting closer to 5 minutes. It's getting bigger.
Crazy.
Speaking of The Couch, we didn't talk about this, but the callback in Headache was, you find, very clever, very clever.
Thank you.
I liked watching Twitter light up with people being like, I think they're referencing their other album, and I was like, it's pretty obvious, guys.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious. Yeah.
But where does that lyric come from? Because I found it so curious, because I feel like Headache is this song that kind of like shows us the new Tiny Moving Part, like how you guys have evolved since Pleasant Living in a big way is on that song for people that haven't heard the whole album anyways. So I was curious, like, why call back the debut record?
I thought it was like kind of cool to reference back to just, I think it was just kind of cool in the first place to reference an old record, but like
True.
had to make sense though, of course, too. Like the Couch is Long a Full Friendship. That's kind of, just all like, yeah, let's just have a good time, like everything's cool. And then like this Couch is Not As Long As I Remembered is like saying, well, maybe life isn't as comfortable as I thought. It's like a constant battle of like ups and downs. You're trying to find a happy balance to, get day to day, and have a good time. And yeah, I just figured it's kind of tell that's like the opposite. Like, oh wait, maybe I'm not stable in life. Maybe I'm not happy. But like the whole record, a lot of our songs are just about trying to be, stay above and just be happy, keep your head up, and that's where that record kind of comes about.
Now, how about Minnesota? This is another song that I keep coming back to. Did you just want to write a song for your home state?
Well, that song's about like missing like specific people in your life and
home,
and
basically.
Yeah, I'm yeah, Minnesota's like our home and we feel comfortable, and like having someone be like leaving kind of offsets you, kind of bums you out. It's just like like Minnesota's not that far away. It's like they always come back, and just about missing someone. Everybody misses someone, I hope.
Well, I love these themes of. I love the themes of like life is short. Be with the people that mean something to you, and kind of do what you need to do to be happy. That seems to be like what you're getting at.
That's exactly that bingo. Like, yeah.
Fair enough. Is that kind of what you think you've always been writing about, or do you feel like the other records are about something else, and this is kind of where you're at now?
I mean, honestly, like, I guess I feel like we've kind of always been writing about that similar stuff, and we've always people always said like we're emo because we talk about like, emotion and like feeling in life, just life in general. Yeah. And when it comes to writing lyrics and stuff, that's what just feels like the most comfortable writing about. Like, I don't know, I feel like it might be like an outlet to like some of the stuff I feel inside. As easy as it sounds, but it's being honest, and I just naturally feels the best that way to write about personal things and having it relate to like a listener too. And so when you go to a show and like you see them singing along, like it's just that connection you have together just rules, and it just it kind of reminds you like it makes me forget that I'm even tired on stage or anything like that. I'm just like focused on like, wow, that's something else that we're connecting, and it's great. It's kind of very important to us as a band.
Well, I feel like you guys have always kind of had this focus on like the people around you and the people, like the little community that kind of like exists around the music you create. And as the records progress, I feel like almost you're learning to appreciate them in a different way with each record, where you're like, oh, I see this differently than I did before. Maybe it's still similar, but like you have a greater level of appreciation for it, or something along those lines. Is that accurate? am I close?
Yeah.
Am I close?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, I guess like like I say, like we're maturing with songwriting, and I feel like lyrically writing, I'm like getting more and more like, I don't know, I want to say hopefully better, but we just think things through, and like we want to it's like a similar theme, but we want to make sure every song itself, like I said, unique, like instrumentally different, and like a little like lyrically different too. But yet like the same, like very similar points. Like there's one song called Breathe Deep on our record, and like that song's about trying to be strong, and like a lot of our songs are kind of about that too. But this one's about being a snowman, trying to outlast the winter or outlast the summer. And so like I could talk about like the twigs in my skin and like kind of like fun like visual things like that,
Yeah.
which I couldn't do in other songs because then it wouldn't really make sense. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense.
Oh, totally. My fiance's favorite metaphor on the record is warm like a sweater around an old man.
Oh, cool.
That I don't know why, but for her, she was like, "Oh, that's sweet."
That's awesome.
I just liked it because because you do have some metaphors that are a little bit more like you have to think about it, but that one is just so on the nose that I was like, "That's fun. That's fun."
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah.
Oh man,
that's cool.
Now we're like a month away from the record right now. People have heard. How many songs have you guys released? 3?
Yeah, we've done 3 so far.
And the most recent one's "Common Cold," right?
Yeah, that was the last one we did. That was like a couple days ago.
Yeah, that's still fresh. That's when we're recording this. People will hear this release week, so by then they'll know it.
Yeah.
Are you guys doing like a song a week, every other week? Like, how often are you sharing material with people in advance?
Well, I think 3 is I think we just did these 3, and I think we're gonna just like stream the record eventually, sometime before our headliner tour, because we really want everyone to hear all the songs before we try our first headliner. So sometime we're gonna just like put it all out there soon enough. So
is it hard to be at this point? Like I always wonder what it's like to be a month away from an album release like this, and you want people to get it out there. You have this tour, you're excited, and now it's just like that hurry up and wait. Like the 3 songs are out, and in theory, it's just like this 4-week period where it's like, what do we do now?
Yeah, that hurry up and wait thing is definitely true. Like I feel like we all can agree that the worst was we finished the record like was it last September or like 5 months ago or something, and we're just like so excited about it, and we're like, God, I can't wait for someone to hear a song, and like we had to wait like 3 months or something to premiere a song. That was really like, God, this sucks waiting, but it is what it is, like it blows waiting, but once you release it, you're like, oh hell yeah, this is really cool,
And
rewarding.
From what I've heard, the team at Triple Crown is like loves this record as much as you guys do. So I think you're in like good company still.
That's awesome. Yeah, like Fred Felton from Triple Crown, he's the man. Like he helps us out so much, and he's such a great guy. So we're really happy to be with Triple Crown.
I don't think people appreciate how cool of a guy Fred is, because he's not somebody that likes to put himself in the public eye ever. He's very like my artists and speak for me or whatever, but he's like the coolest guy.
He's awesome. He's very, very cool, very caring, and just honest. Kind of what you want for a guy running the record label you're on. Like yesterday, Alternative Press posted like this interview we did, where it's like,
oh yeah,
you don't know, or like the band member thing, and like he texted me say like, hey, that piece was so good, that was so funny, it was hilarious. And I told him like, yeah, we haven't watched it. We're like kind of embarrassed watching ourselves. It's always kind of weird. And he just says, of course, no band likes to watch themselves. Never do that. I would tell you straight up that it's great. If it sucks, I would tell you suck. So like, oh, that's awesome. He's just honest, Like if it sucked, he would just flat out tell me like, yeah, Dylan, that sucks.
Yeah, I feel like it kind of proved Triple Crown to be the perfect label for you guys, because they have this weird knack for like finding a band that's a little left of center and letting them be them and then promoting that. You know what I mean? They don't try to package you guys as like a pop punk band or an emo band or whatever it happens to be. They're just like, no, they're just you.
Absolutely. Like, yeah, Fred is like Triple Crown. They've never told us what we should sound like or anything. They're just 100% on board what we want to do, and that's what that's what we love being with them. It's great.
So we got Celebrate comes out in a few weeks. You have this headline tour. For you, what is the goal at this point? Like with this record, or even beyond that, like what are you guys working towards? Do you feel like this record, do you hope it takes you to the next level, or is it just you hope that it's the best record you could create? Like where are you at with goals?
I mean, we hope to keep growing. I mean, we always want to keep writing more albums, in the future. But I guess it'd be kind of nice to like tour new places. Like we've never been to Australia, we've never been to Japan. We would just want to keep, tour our butts off. Like we love being on the road, and it'd be cool to actually like hit up new spots that we've never been to. Like even going to Brazil would be pretty badass. That'd be kind of cool.
I've never been there either, so I mean, I assume like you do, it's probably awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Like that would just be mind blowing. Like telling like my friends, hey, yeah, we're going to Brazil. The place goes. They'd be like, what? We going to Brazil?
Aside from locations, is there a dream tour you want to do? Is there some like one of those accolades of music business success that you hope to achieve in your career? Or are you just like, I want to do keep doing what you do?
I mean, I actually like the fact that we're touring with the Fall of Troy in Europe in the fall, or excuse me, late summer.
Yeah.
That's like that was kind of a dream like we had when we were growing up. Like when we first got into like technical music when we were like 15 or 16 years old. Like if I could tell my 15-year-old self like, hey, someday you'll go on tour with them in Europe, like I would not believe it. Like it's kind of unbelievable. So I guess that was kind of like a dream. I guess there, like that was just a really amazing thing that's gonna happen. But nothing off the top of my head. Like we just kind of want to keep doing it, keep touring and growing as much as we can, and we're always going to stay true to our music and never, like sell out or do something, lame or anything like that. We just don't, we just want to keep doing what we're doing.
Is it weird to be at that place? Because I imagine, like, when you first got signed with Triple Crown stuff, it was like, oh, we need to prove ourselves, we need to get out there, we need to do this. And now you guys are a couple albums deep, and you have a following, and like you could tour whether or not you released an album this summer. So is it weird to kind of have a little sense of like maybe not stability necessarily, but like comfort? Like okay, we're in, like you're a part of it now, and now you just kind of have to stay.
I mean, we're very appreciative of like anybody who listens to our band, and we've always have been. And I mean, we don't let anything like, oh God, we got a good thing going. We don't let that get to our heads at all. Like the bottom line is like we all love playing music. We love writing music, playing shows for people, and keeping it simple. That's what we love to do, and we wanted to forever do that. It's fun.
Now, I read an interview recently where you guys talked about playing. You specifically are telling a story about practicing in Matt and Billy's bedroom, and that you guys covered Blink-182 songs, and that there's a video of it somewhere. Can we see this video?
We got a bunch of old footage when I was like 12 years old. Like I think we were like 12, 13, 14 years old, and we played like Blink-182, Boxcar Racer, Sum 41, and we have that all home videos like at Matt and Billy's house. In like a little chest thing, like saved. I'm sure someday we'll probably post them. Like they're hilarious. It's just really funny seeing us like from 12, 13 years ago, like how young we were, like playing out between guitars and trying to like we didn't even have a microphone. I think for a long time, so I would just be yelling it super high, and it's pretty hilarious.
That's amazing. Well, yeah, the part that really struck me was that you said that you had disco lights flickering and stuff, and I was like, they like had a production going.
Yeah, we had like a little $10 disco light thing sitting around, and I put like pick it over and stuff for like the heavy parts, and we had fun. We had a lot of fun.
That's amazing. I hope that surfaces, even if you just use the footage for a music video or something. I hope we get to see that someday.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'm sure we'll be posted sometime. We just gotta make sure we post it right, like a music video thing. That would be kind of cool to get thrown into.
Yeah, just to kind of showcase it. But with it was funny. I was thinking about the Blink-182. Today's big story when we're talking is the new Blink-182 single. So then I read that little tidbit and I was like, interesting.
Oh yeah, that's right. I heard that song. I heard it today.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
Did you dig it? We just talk about Blink for the rest of this. We're just like, yeah, it is a good song. Let's just critique the new Blink single. No, it's great. I dug it too.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I think there's a part of me that like I'm always gonna be rooting for Blink-182 though. Like they can do wrong, but they can't do that wrong in my mind. You know what I mean? Where I'll be like, it's not the best, but I'm always gonna like it. I'm always gonna have a reason to like it.
Exactly. No, I'm on the same boat with you, man.
All right, man. Well, I don't want to keep you for too much longer. I am curious. So when does the headline tour kick off?
It starts May 19th in Fargo, North Dakota.
Well, not far away. And then you guys are coming back to Minnesota. Do you guys ever play Benson anymore?
Oh, we haven't played Benson since like when we first started as a band. There's not, I mean, like I said earlier, like there's not too much going on there, except, there's cornfields and stuff.
Of course.
Not too much of a music scene.
Yeah.
But maybe someday we'll play a fun show in Benson and see, all of our family come out to that and stuff. That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, there has to be a basement somewhere. You could record. You could return. Yeah. Come on. Someone in Benson listening to this. Get that going.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll play there someday, I promise.
Yeah, but you guys, I think do you have 1 or 2 dates in Minneapolis? Like, you guys spend time here.
Yeah, well, we're playing one show. We're playing the next day after Fargo. We're playing, there's actually the album release day of Celebrate. We're playing 7th Street Entry in Minneapolis.
Another place I haven't been yet. So, I mean, there we go.
Yeah, like we've been to shows there, and they've been great shows, but we've never actually played there. So we're really excited. It's gonna be really, really great night.
And then the album's out, and then you guys are just probably on the road until the end of the year, and well into next year.
Yeah, that's the plan. I mean, we just, want to stay busy, play as many shows as possible.
You guys have this great 2-year album cycle thing that's kind of formed that I kind of like, where you just tour forever, and then you disappear for a few months, and you come back and you have 10 more songs and you do it again.
Hey, we love it too. We want to do that for as long as we can.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you talking to me. Last thing, if you could pick one thing people take away from Celebrate and all the support you'll do for it, what do you hope people walk away from the new album thinking or feeling, or what ultimately do you hope people take away from it?
I hope they just smile.
I like that. That's a good answer.
Once it's all done, I just want them to smile and be like, that was a fun ride.
I mean, I think that's how I hope life goes. You get to the end and you're just like, that was fun.
Exactly.
All right, man. Well, you have a great day. Thank you so much for talking to me.
Yeah, thanks for the interview. Yeah, have fun in Minneapolis.
Dude, I will. Hopefully I'll see you guys next month when you get to the album release show.
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
All right, dude. I'll talk to you later.
All right, we'll see ya.
Peace.